Hey guys, welcome to Print Challenge. So, not such a long time ago, I went to France, and there for the first time in my life I saw a sculpture from the French artist and sculptor Bruno Catalano. He calls his sculptures the Travelers, and I still remember the first seconds that I saw it. My brain could simply not process what my eyes were seeing. It was like some weird kind of short circuit. For a moment I was completely convinced that the upper body was floating in the air. In an interview, Bruno explained that the sculptures represent people who at some point in their lives were strong, but then they get a bit lost and broken and they need to rebuild themselves. And most of his sculptures hold a bag, and the bag is like a symbolic representation of the journey that they need to undertake, like the soul searching, And I think overall this idea, this message, this resonates with a lot of people. But let's also take a moment and analyze why this is such a powerful illusion. I personally think it works something like this. So our brain tells us that the bag is a heavy object which is pulling down on the structure. Also, we know that bags usually have flexible handles, so it does not make sense to us that this is holding up the upper part of the sculpture. And obviously the center of gravity of the sculpture is somewhere over here, so we expect the sculpture to tip over, but it does not. So everything about the sculpture confuses our brain, and that's exactly why I think why it works so well. So I hope that one day I will own one of his creations, but for now I'm just going to 3D print my own little version. Okay, let me quickly go over how I started this project. So first I browsed to Mixamo and I searched for an average male character, and then I gave it like the standard walk animation and I downloaded the file in FBX format. And then next I imported this file into Blender, and then I chose a frame where the pose sort of matches the poses in one of Bruno's sculptures. And then I used the decimate modifier to create this low poly look, which I personally love, and it also makes things easier for me, I will admit that. So I then added in a back and I reposed the model to make it look like it's being pulled down. And next I erased large chunks of the body. I added a base, and then after some further polishing, this is what I ended up with. Now, I also added the name of the artist on the base, because in no way do I want to claim that this concept is my own idea. Certainly is not, so all credit to Bruno Catalano. And now it's time to print this, which is not easy in its current form, so I decided to split the model in 3 separate parts. The torso is placed slightly slanted, and this is because you want to easily print the chin and the nose without supports. And also for this part I added a brim, because there's not a lot of contact surface with the build plate. You don't want it to get it loose in the middle of your print. Another tricky part here was the design of the hand holding the bag. I had to make sure that the printer starts bridging from one point to the other as soon as it starts printing the hand, or things could get literally quite ugly. Okay, well, that's enough chatting for now. Let me turn on the printer and start printing. Before we build everything together, let's just take a small moment to appreciate the print quality of the parts. The name of the artist is printed very clearly, and the right foot, which, if you know anything about 3D printing, this is a pretty challenging overhang, it's just printed perfectly. The torso is printed nicely as well, but the most pleasing part, in my opinion, is definitely the hand, and we can see that the gap between the handles was bridged without any issues. Now let's build this together, and you may have guessed that with only 3 parts this will be really easy. First I removed the really large brim on the torso. I then take some super glue and apply it on the arm and the torso. And next I insert the tab from the arm into the hole in the torso and I apply some pressure. And then after some time I repeat the same steps for the back and the base. And that is basically it. It doesn't always have to be difficult, right? Now, I know that this is a bit different than what people usually like I guess that most people want some movie prop or an action figure or some kind of gadget. But yeah, one of the reasons I started this channel was to have the ability to express myself and create whatever I want to create, even if I know that the audience for this type of project is probably rather small. But yeah, personally I am really happy with the outcome, and yeah, at some point I might print it again on a much bigger scale. Now as for the next episode, I hope to release something really cool for Halloween, but unfortunately I can't make any promises because of some health related issues in my family. If I can't upload for this year's Halloween, it will be for next year. But rest assured, at some point another episode will be released, hopefully in the very near future, or even on Halloween. And whenever it is, I hope to see you then. Bye.